today.
Well, that's okay because I don't
But
either.
apparently we're live now.
Well, we're getting that way. We're not quite there. It's not. At least it hadn't popped up. The delay hadn't kicked in yet.
Dormant state during winter bear. And I'm just
I had to
Uncas.
hear
I'm
myself.
just always Uncas.
You remember? You know what a dormant state during winter is? That's
Yeah.
hibernation. Or
I'd
can
like to do that myself right now.
be. No kidding. I bet you would. The well, let's see. We got anybody in here? I got to read.
I'd like to, like an old marmot or a groundhog, I'd like to fix me up a plug of some kind of stiff vegetation and just go to bed.
Can you just think of that up, or is that a line from something?
No, that's not a line from nothing. It's just
Well, it might be. We need
that's what they do. That's how they.
I know. Well, who you talking about in this case?
Marmots and groundhogs,
You're right.
they form a plug in their lower intestinal region,
Oh, bears do too.
and they just go to bed. And
Yeah.
and like I'm in bed. I'm gonna go to sleep for a while.
Leave me alone.
And you can wake them up because they ain't truly hibernating like
True.
a toad would or something like that. But
bears around here don't really hibernate.
bears don't. I've had bears run over my back. Well, I've had a bear run over my back that was darn sure not hibernating.
Good morning, Miss Brenda.
Good morning, Miss Brenda. She was supposed to be hibernating and have cubs.
And
I had a radio collar on her, and she didn't have. She had my radio collar, but no cubs. And when I crawled down in her little groundhog hole, because I was the little guy, the smaller of the three of us, she was not asleep, and I could barely fit in that hole, and somehow she wormed her way over the top of me and out the hole.
Well, that's
and when I finally got out of the den, the two guys, I had a flashlight and a dart pistol, and when I finally got out of the den, the two guys that were working with me were laughing so hard they were laying on their backs and kicking their feet up in the air.
I think it would have been better was if you'd run into some yellow jackets.
They said your little old feet started kicking. We knew something was going. I could take you to that spot right now on the Mogollon Rim.
When your little feet started kicking, we knew
I could drive you right to that exact location on the Mogollon
Rim. Arizona.
That's where it went down.
Right here. Right here. And I can still show you. I'm surprised you don't have claw marks up your back.
There wasn't. She didn't leave a mark on me.
Brenda says she sure would like to.
I would like to have had a video of that too, Brenda.
Of course, she keeps saying she wishes the hell she'd gotten a video of me coming off my truck.
Oh, I wish I'd have had a video. I'd have put that on you. I'd have put that. We'd be making $1 million by now.
We might. That's true. That's very true. Oh God.
And I'd freely split it right 50-50 right down the middle.
Would you?
Excuse me. But yeah, so one of the guys that was laughing the hardest and kicking the hardest on the ground, he was a big old guy, and he couldn't get down in the hole.
There is some advantages to being big.
And like a month later, we were trapping bobcats and putting radios on bobcats, and caught this great big old male bobcat, and Stan goes, "Well, I'll turn him loose." And he cut that cat loose, and it turned sideways and got to be about the size of a Smilodon. and here it come right at him, and he was probably 270, great big tall guy, a big guy, but not overly large, but a big guy.
Big
He
guy,
was
yeah.
just a big frame guy, and an older guy, and that cat turned sideways when we turned him loose. And he went spitting and spatting up this 2-track road at Stan, and Stan turned and ran, and that like 35-pound male bobcat chased him like for 50 yards or so, and then finally run off, and I was doing the laying on my back, kicking and laughing thing.
Good. It's good when it comes back around.
And I'm like, what goes around comes around, buddy.
That's right. If you're going to laugh at somebody, just fully expect to get it right back.
Where are our people? Where are our people?
Well, I don't see anybody yet. I don't know.
I know
I thought they were going to be there. Well, I didn't put it on.
It's going to be a short conversation. If I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, if it's just us, me and you, we'll talk about something for a little while. Shit, there's always something.
We could talk.
Well, I'm not talking about.
We could talk about the fact that Josh Frost won the world already last night.
But I didn't know that yet. You're spoiling it for me.
Oh hell! I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I'll plan to watch it.
I was surprised that they already announced it.
Well, I am too. I didn't think he was that far ahead.
He did not ride last night.
He did not.
But they said he had already clinched the world.
Wow.
I guess because there's just one more round, and there ain't no way they could catch him.
Oh, I'm 3 nights behind. I got started on round 7, and yesterday and the day before I just had shit going on. I didn't have time to sit down and just focus on it. I hate to watch it if I can't really pay attention because I soak it up. I don't get to do it again until next year.
Well, there's a battle royale going on with the girls on the barrel racing. So
I thought that was going to get tight.
It's tight now.
So that's not settled until tonight.
Yeah, tonight will be the deciding night. But yeah, it's a battle royale for sure. I don't know who. They didn't announce anybody else except Josh.
Well, I guess.
And that was the guy I was rooting for.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad.
He's been doing it a long time, and he deserves it.
Well, he's come in second, 2 or 3 years in a row, I think, or did.
Well, he clinched it. So
cool. I didn't think he was that. I didn't think he was that far out though. I thought he. In fact, I thought he'd.
I think he was 40 grand ahead
when they came
last night.
And well, that's enough.
And the most they can win is 33. So he got it. But that'll be fun to watch that. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I was really and he had a couple.
There's our wayward Canadian. He's come into the top.
Oh, he's just he should have brought donuts. I'm thinking, Mike, go ahead and pass them out.
He's asking Santa for a horse trailer besides me.
I could. If you think it would help, Mike, I'll ask for one. That way, if you don't get one, you can have mine.
I got a neighbor down the road that's got a horse trailer I've been lusting after for years. That if I could get him to finally sell me that horse trailer, that would be grand. So I'm asking Santa too, but
You got a horse trailer that's got living quarters in it, or just a
no, it's just a really nice. You can put 3 horses in it, and
it got the, what do you guys call it? You call it the low top or the wild?
but it's a gooseneck horse trailer, but it's a shorter one, and I'd love, God dang, I'd love to have that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Mark's going to be asking too, so that was a good question, buddy. I'm not, but like I said, I will if it'll help get one.
Caitlin and I went to the dump yesterday.
I
blew my right knee out, and so I told my daughter I need your help to unload this load of ranch junk that I needed to dump at the dump, and she went with me, and we're driving to the dump, and there was a big old bull moose like walking down the river, and I'm like, look, a moose. And she's like, is that what that is? I'm like, yeah, that's what that is. Look at him.
Boy, talk about Miss Party Pooper, Jiminy. Just jump right in there and stomp on little Mike's heart. I'm telling you.
Santa is not bringing you a horse trailer.
Mike, if you've been a good boy all year, if you've been a good boy and all that, she may not have any say in it. Good morning, everyone but Mike.
Good morning, everybody but Mike.
Oh, Mike. Gonna have a good morning there, Mike. Sorry, buddy. I'm afraid Santa won't get my way.
You got a dog big enough that you need a horse trailer just to haul him around.
I didn't realize the Canadian Post Office was on strike. How about I heard about that?
Seriously.
He says he's afraid Santa won't get his letter this year because
last 60 days
on strike. I had not heard that.
But Santa knows things. He can feel it.
Wait a minute, what's Mike saying? I think I'm on your avalanche, dear. What does that mean? You lost me, Mike. Am I just dumb, or is there something?
You're just dumb.
You get it? You don't get it.
I don't get it either, but you're just dumb, and so am I.
Buddy, I was reading two little savages at the fitness. I've been a very good boy all year. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Now you got to jump back to Two Little Savages.
I'm going. What did Mike retract? I missed something. I think I'm on Diana's naughty list this year. I don't think I'll be getting any gifts. Sorry, Mike. That's why I said if you want me to, I'll ask Santa. And if I get one, I'll just gift it to you, buddy. And it won't be from Santa. And Diana likes me. Surely she wouldn't say no to that.
My wife told me that, like, we've been buying gifts for grandkids and kids, and maybe we can, maybe we don't need to buy each other. And I'm like, I'm not stepping in that leg hold.
There's no real wind to that. Did I ever tell you?
That's not a leg hold that I'm gonna step into.
No. If you do, you better get busy chewing
lump of coal's what Mike's getting from Diana.
I ever tell you about the guy? I don't know if I ever told you about the guy. He was a Marine. 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 that I worked with, and he still works at TVA. He was quite a bit younger. Well, he was younger than me. I shouldn't say quite a bit. I'm not sure exactly how old he was. Anyway, he's from Coalfields in Virginia, and
Yeah.
he came on to TVA because he'd been working in the watershed stuff and had done some work with us, and then eventually he applied. Eventually, he got hired. What are you still laughing about?
Huh?
Oh, never mind.
I'm not laughing. I'm telling my dogs to knock it off.
Oh, so anyway,
But they're all worked up by the Red Fox this morning. So
oh yeah, I guess
they're still all worked up because they got to chase the Red Fox this morning.
Yeah.
Early. Like
early.
03:50.
Well, yeah, that Red Fox is probably out there panting and carrying on like, God damn you guys, don't you know you're not supposed to be out this early? It's my time.
Well, they go out almost every morning about that time,
Yeah,
4 o'clock, whatever. They wake me up and like, hey, it's time for us to go outside. And I always answer the call because otherwise I might have to clean up a mess. So
good point. So anyway, this guy worked for us, and he was good. He was a really good guy, but he was, I'm going to say, a little
terrorist on the call.
Shy. Don't start anything, Brenda, please. He was a little, I would have said backward. You know, he wasn't real comfortable around women, and even his wife. You know, it was kind of a new thing, and so it came up for his anniversary, and they were going. He decided, emphasis on he now. He decided, maybe she did too, that they were going to go away for their first anniversary. They were going to go to Douglas Lake and go get a cabin up there somewhere and go fishing. For one thing, he fishes tournaments a lot. She wasn't getting to go fishing with him much. He was gone. Plus, he worked a lot. But anyway, and there was some other reason, but they decided not to get each other anything for their anniversary because they were going to take this trip, and you know they were paying for the cabins and the fishing stuff, you know.
And I say nay.
Well, so as it got closer to the time for their anniversary, he goes out to the truck or something, and he comes back in. And there she sits with a card or a little package, and he's like, "You said we weren't getting it." So he had nothing. So that started it off. So Christmas rolls around, and again he's getting that. You know, we won't get each other anything.
He stepped right on that. He stepped right on that pan. Well, that big old leg hold got him.
Well, this time I think he died. Well, this has 2 steps. He was at his mother-in-law's house. They were there for dinner or something, and she came up to him. She said, "Yeah, what'd you get?" I can't remember her name. "What'd you get Sarah for Christmas?" And he said, "Well, nothing. We're gonna. I don't know, maybe he got her a ring." That's what it was. She had bought something kind of expensive on like Shopping Network or something, some kind of jewelry. So she had said, "This is my Christmas present. Don't get me anything." See, big trap there. That's a leg hole's got teeth on it.
Great big wide jaws like this big.
With big old teeth. And so her mom asked, said, "Well, what'd you get her?" He said, "Well, she got that ring." She said, "No, I mean, what'd you get her for Christmas?" He said, "Well, she told me not to get her anything because she bought that ring." And her mom's like, "Oh, no, you can't do that." And he said, "Well, she's not getting me anything." And her mother said, "Well, yeah, maybe she is." And so he came to work after that to a meeting. And, you know, you don't want to bring this sort of thing up in a meeting around a bunch of guys like us because we're not going to have any.
You're not going to get any sympathy.
No, so
he's giggles.
But he's asking questions. You know, what should I do? And one of our guys back then, who was just kind of a regular guy, who eventually ended up being a big manager. But he's like, well, he said, Shannon, there's always, he said, you got to stick. Here's my rule of thumb. He said, you got to go by the 3 S's, buddy. And Shannon said, well, what's the 3 S's? And Bucky said, silky, shiny, or smelly. He said, you got to get some nice deodorant or some kind of lingerie or something like that. Or something shiny, like more jewelry or something like that. And Shannon said right in front of all of us, well, she told me not to get anything. And we're all like, no, tell me you didn't fall for that. And that's when we found out he had already fallen for this trick once and it didn't work out well. He's a good guy. I really like.
That's what we do is fall for it and fall for it and fall for it.
I'm gonna bet he's not falling for that trick anymore, but he might. He thought we'd fall back in over time. We get complacent, us men do. Don't we, Brenda? Mark has been taught well.
we just like whatever. It's like I'm going to my youngest grandson's birthday party today, and he's 3, and they invited 70 human beings to this birthday party. 70. Not just like, him and his like 4 best friends or something.
Yeah.
70 human beings are going to be at this birthday party.
Probably at least 35 are adults.
And I'm like, and you wonder why?
Yeah. I mean, where could they come up with 70 people to invite to a 3-year-old's birthday?
And most of them are adults.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, how many of them are adults? I mean, which is not going to mean a damn thing to
he ain't going to care.
Crockett or Boone.
He ain't going to care a bit.
No. I mean, if he's got his cousins.
He ain't even going to remember it. So, let alone.
No, he might barely, but it won't be like a fond memory. There's a lot of cake that's a lot of cake for 70 people, and ice cream would have been cheaper with donuts. It would, wouldn't it, Mike? I bet it would have been a lot cheaper with donuts. This is a good time to begin the flu.
And we barely have 70 people living in our whole state. It's like.
And on top of that, Grandma and Grandpa have to drive 70 miles to.
Well, we got to drive that far, and 2 grandmas, 2 grandmas, 1 grandpa have to drive that far, and then all the uncles and aunts have to drive further than that, and the other grandpa, they have 2 houses, one in Casper and one in one in Old Powell. He's got to drive a long way. He's got to drive like 4 hours. So, it's.
I'm sure he's expected to be there too.
It's not a. It's a deal,
Diana agrees. She said 70 people. That's crazy. It is crazy. Like she said, that's crazy. 70 people. I said it wrong,
but that's the way of the world right now. I guess that's how it happens.
I guess I don't know. That's a lot of. We need to get Sammy off somewhere and have a long talk with him. He he ain't going.
He ain't the boss of me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's not in charge. So he don't have to be in charge, but he could.
We're going to go down and decorate for the big hootenanny at whatever time, and
That's what you guys got to go do. You're doing.
Grandma today. Yeah, today.
And what time you think you'll get home this evening? It
I
sounds
don't
like
know. I have no idea. It's a mystery.
it could, I mean, if it turns, nasty out there in the Wild Wild West, you could be coming home in the snow and the
All I
blizzard.
know is that the clouds are stacking in black to the
Oh,
west of me right now.
so you'll have wolves chasing you, walking in your
It'll
car
be
tracks.
it'll be like Rolf in the woods. We'll be like running from wolves before you know it.
Brenda said, Brenda said that'd be a good time getting serious about it, spreading flu and crap like that around. I mean, get
Yeah,
just
I mean that's what happens every year at this time. Like,
yeah.
hey, what new virus are we gonna get today?
They're in schools and around schools, or the kids are around the other kids. They're gonna bring something home, and then you get
There's gonna be an episode.
yeah, it's gonna happen. Now, you'd be better off if you stayed outside. I don't know.
I just got over the last one, so we'll
Oh
see.
boy. Well, that'll be fun. So you're in practice.
Yeah,
I'm hoping John's. You asked me if anybody else was coming. I talked to John yesterday.
but I wouldn't miss it for the world. So
Oh no, I know. This isn't the bone air birthday or anything. You're just a birthday. You've already done that, right?
yeah,
Anyway, I was saying I talked to John yesterday, Surf Bum John. He called me and was talking to him for a minute. He said he'd seen me this morning, so I was kind of waiting on him to get here because one of the things I was going to talk about is because of him. And he was asking me. He was asking me for my address because he realized he had my address, but my address had changed. Which I realized that if anybody wanted my address for Christmas card exchange, they're feel free to ask me. But I felt bad to say that because I thought I don't want to be telling people think I'm desperate here begging for Christmas cards.
well, snotty next week. He'll have a snotty, naughty
Nobody
nose.
knows. Well, that's possible. Anyway, John didn't have my address. So I started giving it to him, and I said, wait a minute. Whoa. I said, seems to me like that man that spent his entire career in the U.S. Postal Service, I ought to just be able to give you my zip code, and you can find me. He laughed. He said, yeah, I might could, but why don't you just go ahead and give it to me? It'll be easier this way.
Well, hopefully, it shows up on your doorstep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I told him if he ever gets back down here with his brother or something, I want him.
Yeah, I mean, if he comes down to see his brother, he's just not very far away, right?
No, just over the mountain here. I mean, literally
30 miles or something.
Yeah, about that. Maybe not. Oh, there he is.
There's a surf.
I'll be chasing the dogs.
We're talking about you, buddy.
And your ears should have been burning.
Burning, on fire, big flames. You look like Thor.
You look like Thor. Well, I'll let him get his good mornings and howdies in there for a minute, but no drones. That was one of the little topics of discussion today. I did not know this because I've not been watching news lately.
Drones?
I did not. Maybe you don't know either. See,
apparently I don't.
Well, apparently over the Northeast, parts of the Northeast, New Jersey. John can tell us where they've been seeing these drones flying around. They don't know who they are or where they're from or what they are. Of course, everybody's up in arms about it and blaming everybody, for not doing anything. But the military says, well, we can't just start shooting shit down especially over populated areas yet till we figure out what they are. But John, I had a thought yesterday. I was watching a couple of videos, and what doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I have two thoughts on this. One of them is the size.
It's the Canadians.
I should have known it was the Canadians. There
I
you
knew it was them. South Park's been predicting that for years.
go. We're being invaded with drones. Government won't fess up. I don't know. I tell you what I think, though, John. Here's one thing that everybody's blaming China and Russia and
Just
and
shoot
so
them
they're
down.
blaming China, but
Just take your 12 gauge out there and blast
well,
them.
that's what I suggested. But he said they're a little too high for that.
Are they big drones, like big military drones, or are
Well,
they little
that's what
bitty?
John was saying, and I read yesterday that some of them are small SUV size.
Seriously.
That's what they're saying. But now here's the thing let me say this because this is important. And everybody seems to be just looking right over this. At least I think it's important. These drones that I'm seeing and they're showing on videos and they're popping up on YouTube. One thing about them all, they got their lights on, at least until they run from the cops and they turn them off, which they do. But they've got their lights on. Why in the hell would you want to do that if you were a Chinese spy? Drive up with your lights on. They don't have to have lights on those things. They can navigate by by satellite and stay out of everybody's way. But to be legal in this country, you got to have lights: green, red, white, all that. And I don't. Even the dumbest crooks in this country probably would have. I mean, if they were going to do something sneaky, they wouldn't do that.
They'd be blacked out, I think.
And what I've heard was that local helicopter, I guess cops, or it could even be the news people, they've got helicopters. They say if the helicopter comes near one, they turn their lights off. And they only show up at night, so it's dark. They turn their lights off and run away. And so they don't know they don't know where they go. Well, hell, all good drones these days you can make them go home. They know how to go home. And you can just hit the return home button, and they'll go back to the house. They don't have any lights on. It's all, compass or satellite driven and stuff. Somebody's just doing a really bad. Mike, I think it is, and I think more people now are getting in on it. Coast Guard are trying to find them in the mothership. I think it's a bunch of hoodlums, but I don't know that it's.
But how would a hoodlum have a drone that was as big as a car?
Oh, there's professional drones out there where they do photography and stuff are about that size.
Seriously.
But they're not the drones like the military had. The ones that fly like an airplane. These are hovering, stopping drones, that kind of drones. And here's the other thing, John, or whoever, I'm throwing this out there. And this, I saw this morning in an article. I was already telling Brenda this, I think last night, but I think some of them, if they're that big, they're actually ultralight aircraft because they're making some electric ultralight aircraft now that could do that very thing and hover and scoot around and go faster than you think because they're not not that big, and so it could very well be something like that flying around too. And if that's the case, we'll see. But the thing all I'm saying is, if they're trying to sneak, they wouldn't have their lights on. I wouldn't
think so.
I think if it was the Ruskies or the Chinese or somebody like that, I think they'd be sneaking. I don't think they'd just be driving down your front yard. And what they're doing, from what I can see, is they're just not going up and down the beach or going over neighborhoods and getting people's attention and then leaving. But John told me last night he was going to go out and look for drones, and I said, "What are you talking about?" So I looked it up. And I don't know who they are, but I don't think they're. I don't know. I don't think they're Russians or Chinese because I don't think they have lights on. I think they come in dark and
shot down all Russian drones.
Do what? Oh,
It's not Russia because Ukraine already shot down all their drones.
I hope so. I think that'd be hilarious. I hope they get them all shot down before it's too late. Which is only a month or two away now. Another
I
month.
can't wait till one of them gets me bucked off my horse. I'm gonna be. There'll be lead flying through the air. I'll guarantee you.
Have you had them? Have you had them out? I mean, do you see them a lot?
I've never seen one, but I know guys that have them that fly them around
You're talking about small ones.
and look for critters and whatever, which is illegal.
Oh, is it?
Oh, hell yeah, it is. But yeah,
It probably is back here.
the whole dang thing is just they don't know. It's like they're photographing people's private lives and things, and it's like,
yeah. Well, these guys could be running infrared cameras doing the same thing, but I think.
And I'm getting to be more and more like an old Wyoming rancher. Like I own from the center of the earth to the heavens above. And if you fly over my property, you're violating my airspace.
Please don't.
I've had several ranchers over the years when I was counting wildlife, like, why are you flying over my property? Well, I'm counting critters. Well, you can't do that. That's my sovereign airspace.
Yeah, bullshit.
And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But anyway.
But he thinks you put a night scope on your rifle and you saw that, I guess. And look here, Mike says he thinks you're awesome, buddy.
And I think the same about my brother from Manitoba.
You guys could shoot some down out there and
freedom.
Chances are they wouldn't land on a house. Where John's at, you shoot one of them down and they're probably gonna land on somebody or something because there's they're around big neighborhoods and stuff, which is another reason I think there are people screwing around. They're only doing this to get attention.
So speaking of neighbors, Mike mentioned neighbors, so I'm gonna bring this up.
Okay.
My neighbor, my neighboring town that I don't live in, but they do. 63 people.
Yeah.
They got a hold of me yesterday about a mountain lion in town, and I'm like, I'm retired, don't you? Well, yeah, but you know some stuff.
You live right down the road.
And so you're close. Can you please help us with our dilemma? And it wasn't no dilemma, but.
So was there a mountain lion in town?
Not that I could determine. Probably a big old yeller dog.
Good chance of that. I saw a mountain lion. I saw a video of a mountain lion poking around.
I mean, we have them that come through here. I've lived on this part of the river for 23 years now, probably. And I have legitimately taken photos of 2 mountain lion sets of tracks on the river in the snow,
Oh, cool.
In 20 plus years.
20 plus years.
And I mean, we have a fair number of deer that winter here, and they, although not right now because our deer numbers are way down, but that's what lions eat. So they go where their food is. And I'm just like, the chance of that actually being an actual mountain lion is like 0.0001%. It's not likely.
John says.
I responded to hundreds of I got a lion in my yard calls over the years, and 99.99999% of them were like somebody lost their yellow lab or something weird. It wasn't. They were almost never cats. So
That reminds me. Well, first off, I want you to see what John said about Jersey's the most populous state in the U.S., so a lot of food for the aliens. She's who remembers the Twilight Zone episode. Yep. So somebody, Brenda, do you remember just the other day us talking about this? Somebody was.
You got a cat.
Well, they were reporting a cat.
Or a black. It was probably black, though.
No, I don't think so.
that black painter.
Grizzle bear. It's an inside joke, guys, but up here when we were growing up, and
an albino, a 10-point albino whitetail, a grizzle bear,
a black panther,
and black panther.
And I don't know if
there was 4 of them. I can't remember what we used for the.
I don't know if it was a wolf or not. My father-in-law once told me they were putting wolves in here again, which was not true. But I think he heard about them putting them in the park that time, and I think he extrapolated from his own imagination. But somebody was just talking about that. Maybe I was talking. Maybe it was at therapy one day, and somebody.
I remember that episode.
She's seen it several times. It's great. She's seen it. She likes that show. Some of them I do too. Some of them, some of them weird me out just a little bit. But anyway, so somebody was reporting a cougar down here, mountain lion down here, and I'm not
catamount.
A catamount.
If you're in Tennessee, it's got to be a catamount or a painter.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you where they came.
Excuse me.
We could have some here now. It's always possible, but most of the time when they find a cat in this part of the country wandering around, it's because somebody turned one loose.
Yeah, they had it illegally as a pet.
Legally and turned it loose because they couldn't keep it anymore. And, because, it's a cat. It doesn't know what to do when you turn it out in the wild.
When it reaches and plays with you.
Yeah.
That leaves injuries.
Yes, it does. Anyway, so they turned it. That's what I suspect because that's usually what it is. But, but that said, some of those cats could have reproduced. Where would I find a dire wolf? Remember that episode? I saw that. Well, now that's a good question, Brenda. I'm not sure if we had dire wolves. Oh, you know what? They may have dire wolf remains up at the grave dig site. We'll have to look.
We had dire wolves all over most of the country.
Did we? Okay.
But they're all dead.
Well, I know that.
Every single one of them has been dead since 11,000 years ago.
And I think she knew that. I think she was just talking about bones. I hope.
It's cool. It's cool to think that they'd be around still, but they're not. They're not even closely related to wolves.
Might have been an elk back then that we thought it was lived in the cave with the panther and the other thing. That's we used to kind of make fun of that, but people
believe it with their right down to their core. I saw Black Panther. And cats come in black, and they're either jaguars or leopards. take your pick.
Yeah,
Neither of which lived in the eastern United States. Well, there were jaguars in the eastern United States.
in the South, weren't they?
In the South, but a long time ago, like Pleistocene. And they've been gone a long time. And I don't doubt that somebody has a black leopard or a black jaguar as a illegal pet
Yeah.
that got out. I don't ever totally discount the like I saw a Black Panther thing because of that reason, but it's not because there's a breeding population of them in the United States of America.
Brenda, what were you trying to say there? You took something off. You put it over here. I still see it, but over here you took it off. Or on the anyway, you erased something.
A Pond Bound. I loved a Pond Bound.
Yeah, I don't know what she took it off, so that must not be what she meant. But anyway, so John, you keep your eye open, buddy. We'll be thinking about you. If it gets too busy up there, I'll
call us. We'll come armed.
I'll bring a couple more shotguns up. Maybe we can hide up in a tree and they'll get too close and we can bang them that way. Kind of like mounted aerial gunnery sites.
Why New Jersey?
Well, that's another. I mean, why?
You mean what? I'm not saying anything about New Jersey other than why.
I don't know.
Why would that be the spot that you targeted?
I don't know, and they're in some other places, but that seems to be the most. Maple Bacon says, "I'll come to Mark and Tim show how to shoot a gun." You come on down, Mikey.
I can teach you how to shoot a rifle. Or a shotgun, whichever you prefer. Pistols too. We have those capabilities.
Okay, what John said, good food. You mean if you come down and visit, or what? I missed something.
Brenda, you got to go to the Florida to the Blackwater creeks and swim with the gators, and you could find a direwolf bone.
She keeps
and a megalodon tooth at the same time.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd really love for her to be able to go do that. I'd like to do it too, but if I
well, and you could take some of those little creeks that they hunt, and you don't even have to, you don't even have to snorkel or anything. You can just find it.
Well, it is more. It probably is more people per square inch, Brenda. That's a pretty dense population up there.
But isn't that south end of the state like piney woods and open country?
Oh God, I know I've asked him this 100 times.
You've been there.
Yeah, huh?
I said that south end of the state is like piney woods and open country, and
yeah,
it's still got some soul left to it.
I think John's more middle of the state, and up where it's getting more popular. I think. John, jump right in here, buddy. I'm just walking all over myself. You just have to watch out.
Well, we have no data.
Yeah, we don't have enough data here. Oh, Mark, have you got an invitation yet?
I haven't made the contact yet, Brenda. But it's coming. Probably in the spring, because they'd only come out here in the summertime, and I'd probably only go there in the summertime. Maybe that's a really bad idea. Maybe I should go there in like the middle of winter. I don't know.
You mean like searching for parts?
Yeah, if I like traded trips with the boys.
I hope they take you up on that.
I got some spots, so that they should see.
I could set you down on the sand beds with your little sand bucket and shovel. You talking about me or Mark now?
You could either one of us.
On the beach in the sun, let me roast while she goes out and walks the creeks and digs up critters with, Paleo Chris and Bree. Who, if you haven't ever watched them guys, I highly recommend.
They'd have to wait for me to cripple along, but I'll still cripple along. So
let me see something since I brought this up. I will make an effort.
I got a right knee brace on right now. God dang it. Pardon my French. Stupid aging.
Okay. Here you go, John and Mark and everybody. Let me see if I can present this.
I don't know what we're doing.
I'm just going to show you something. What I was talking about a minute ago about drones that people fly. There's one. And these are the kind of drones.
So you wouldn't want to shoot one of them down because you'd shoot like a human down.
Yeah,
unless he was a Chinese commie that was invading our space, then pop him.
Some of these are still concepts.
Aim at the pilot, not at the drone.
But these are real. I mean, and this could be flying right over John's doorstep.
What the hell?
Hey, Dave, welcome in. Adventures by Dave has popped in. Here we're talking. Did you see that thing? It had like squirrel cage fans on it.
You think you wouldn't see that look up if he was like a Opalonian from Wyoming that has 63 people living around him? That you'd look up in the sky and see something like that and not think that was an alien?
Well, yeah, of course.
And you'd be flinging lead right at it. Quick as you could.
Look at that little fleet.
Yeah, that's that whole line of like aerial stuff is like some bullshit. Bull fucky.
My county has more people than Wyoming population. Crazy. Just checked it. Oh Lord, John.
I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, me too.
Come home, brother. Come home, brother. We don't have many stripers here, but
there is some good fishing in town.
But there's some good fishing. We don't have many stripers, but for God's sakes, get the heck out of there.
John, we were just discussing a little bit about Dave, about the
Diana wants to fly one.
I think they'd be kind of cool too, Diana, but look at these things, realize that these are real, and this is the very kind of thing somebody could be flying up and down the beach or around New Jersey and use the publicity to show off their vehicle. I mean, at some point they'll have to come out and say, yeah, this was us and we didn't mean to scare anybody, but we wanted to.
But at some point they need to start filing flight plans and look, I'm going to be in your community, like flying this deal around, so don't shoot me down.
Well, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but these guys are so small. I saw a TV thing yesterday where they were saying, oh, these things aren't showing. Some lay person was like, talking to a reporter, and they're like, "Oh, these things you don't see them on radar. You can't. They're foreign. They're aliens or what." Well, just because you can't see it on radar means it's probably too small for radar. Plus, they're made out of materials that aren't really that reflective in radar, and so that doesn't surprise. Plus, they're down low. I mean, even John, would you say anybody you saw was over 500 or 600 feet or 1,000? I don't know how low the radar can get. It used to be about 500 feet was the least they could get.
But I mean, if a guy in one of those came over my property at like 100 feet or 200 feet with no knowledge that it was going to happen, and he spooked my horses, for instance, I'd be shooting at the son of a buck.
Well, you would if it was on a motorcycle and ran through your horses too. So
exactly.
I mean,
It's like you at some point you got a neighbor. You can't.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be flying over your property, day after tomorrow, and I'll be at 300 feet or whatever. Okay, cool. Game and Fish tells me when they're coming over me. And you can wave and do all your little dillies, but
wow.
At some point, I mean, look at that guy. He's 20 feet off the deck.
I've seen a guy flying one of these, so I know this is these are for real. This is not just video magic. These are real ones. And this is the exact size that they're talking about seeing. Here's the other thing about these guys, because they're ultralight, FAA created a whole category for these guys 20 years ago or so, because people were wanting to build things that were smaller, and they were doing them. It's kind of like part of the home built deal, but different. And you have to, you don't get a regular license for them. You get, a license just for them, which usually means you can't haul people around, and
right.
Supposed to do other certain things. I'm not sure if they're supposed to fly at night or not, but they obviously are. So that's irrelevant to me. But these things are real, and I believe. And those I was trying to get back to that picture a minute ago. Let me see if I can find them again. The one where they were lined up down on what looked like a runway. I think that one right there is cooler than bull crap, because that would be so handy.
But look at him. He's like 10, 20 feet off the deck.
Oh, yeah. He's not far off the ground at all.
Hopefully he had permission of that landowner.
Well, I doubt it, but maybe. I don't know how they, honestly, I don't know how they.
I mean, they can hurt people.
Well, sure,
and livestock badly by that.
But outside of Wyoming, I'm not sure.
Or most of America. I mean, people are raising cattle in Ohio and Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that part. I'm just saying we'd more likely see them here probably, or have seen them before maybe, than Wyoming folk, and they might. But I get what you're saying. And in fact, that's what they're doing right now. If that's the case, they're flying around spooking people. And, like sooner or later, somebody's going to have a heart attack because the aliens landed in his backyard. And then they're going to have hell to pay. But this one may be the one that you can actually get a ride in. You call them up and they'll send it to your house. It'll land in your yard. You get in it and it'll take you to the airport or somewhere you need to go. I believe it's that one. Or it may be those that we saw that were kind of lined up down the runway there a minute ago. I was trying to find that picture again. I may not be able to. I think they're trying to sell those as a commuter option. Sort of like being in the Jetsons. Not so far. That's about as this stuff like this gets us about as close to the Jetsons as we've been so far. That thing looks like a sunfish, ocean sunfish. That's interesting. Anyway, these things are. I'm not going to say they're cool or they're not cool. And yes, they have there's a lot of questions that probably ought to be answered. But I
mean, if they're going to turn them loose, there needs to be rules.
Well, yeah, but it's just like everything else. Somebody's going to break the damn rules, and I think that's what's going on right now. Because
they're unregulated currently. Yeah. That's the deal.
Even if they're not supposed to be flying them at night, which I suspect might be the case, they're doing it. And I really believe that these kind of things are what you're seeing. They're big because they'll stop, start, and go different directions. And like I said before, they've got controls that you can just set it to go home, and it'll take you right back to where it started from. So you just turn off your lights and hope nobody runs into you.
So they're surveying for wind farms. John, do you have a lot of wind farms in New Jersey? We have a bunch of them out here, but our winds are so high, as you know, that sometimes it just blows those things over. But
yeah, John, I don't think they'd be doing that at night. It doesn't make much sense to me, but you never know if they could be doing something like that. Or they could be up checking winds off the coast at night. I mean, for New Jersey to put in wind farms, I'd suspect they'd be off the coast. And so they might be looking at winds in and out from, the ocean at different times of day. That's possible. Rogersville population is 4,600. I guess she's trying to get on the end with the we're bigger than Opal crowd or something.
We're 63, so good luck beating that one.
The wind blows at night, babe, but it tends to change directions at night, off the ocean during the day and off land at night. Or I don't know, John. You tell me. You're the surf fisherman.
They
want
to put wind turbines out in the Atlantic.
And I think if they're going to put those kind of out there, I think that's probably a better option. But
we provide all the power that are generated by our wind turbines in Wyoming, and we have some giant fields of them. I mean, hundreds of thousands of acres.
Mm-hmm.
All that energy goes to California, and it's like, well, why don't you build the dang things
They're selling
off the coast in your own dang state instead of bothering us?
Because somebody in Wyoming cut them a deal. That's why.
Well, because, hell, nobody lives out there, so why would you worry about it?
And as Huck Finn said,
pretty harmful to wildlife, but they don't seem to care about that much.
Huck Finn said about Jackson Island, ain't nobody lives there and hardly anybody comes to visit, so why not put them out here?
Exactly.
Oh, me. I have mixed feelings about all of them, but yeah, I guarantee you the deal is that somebody in Wyoming, landowners /
John, because you've lived out here, we have 2 towns bigger than your town. The one that you currently live in, 25,000. We have 2 towns.
What would that be, Cheyenne and
Casper?
What about Jackson Hole area with all the people that have moved in up there?
And they don't even count as one.
Well, I know they don't count, but has it grown because of that, though? It has, hasn't it?
Well, it's a lot bigger than it used to be, but it's
probably depends on what time.
But they're very limited on what they can do. So most of the people that actually work there live in Driggs, Idaho, or someplace like that. They can't live. They can't afford to live in Teton County anymore. So
Right.
the billionaires ran the millionaires out several years ago. So,
Anything?
and I'm not being flippant, but that
No, I've actually read.
actually happened. So,
What the heck's going on over here? You're still seeing the drones? Mark,
what?
do you still see the drones?
No, sir.
That's right. You're not
I
looking.
see you and I. That's it.
John.
73,000 people. That's like a quarter of our state's population.
Tell me if this is still on, because I thought I turned it off, and for some reason I'm still seeing it. Oh, well, I'm not. I know why. Never mind. Fixed it.
Fixed it.
Oh, my nose is itching. Army Navy football game today. Go Army.
Is it?
Yeah, 3:00.
I'm sorry, buddy.
There's Tina.
I gotta go the other way. So.
Well, that's okay. I figured you did. That's why I said it. Tina says sitting on her balcony. Oh, you're not at home, are you?
Oh, she's down. She's like down yonder to Disneyland or Disney World or whatever.
Yeah, I believe she is. Are you going to Tina? Are you going to the
That a girl, Tina. Go Navy.
Can't go Navy. My dad, I think all my
I know.
all
And you know my dad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to go Army.
Army heavy favorite. I'm Navy for Dad. Yeah, this year Army's had a pretty good team, and
yeah, they've been doing good.
Yeah, I don't know about Navy. I don't think they got much this year. Down in the land of the greedy mouse. No, Tina. No negativity now.
In the land of the greedy mouse.
Don't go negative. But what I was trying to say was, are you going to the any of the gatherings that are happening tonight, or I don't guess you're going to the hell, I can't even think, the charity event, are you? I was going to try and watch some of that online tonight just to see what they're going to do. There's a place. Oh, he's muted. I'll tell him in a minute. There's a place in the Orlando area. I think it's Kissimmee, but that some of the Disney people and some other people started. It's sort of I don't know if they're affiliated with the Make-A-Wish people, but it's the Magical Night of Hope. Well, that's And what's the name of the outfit called, Tina? Damn it. So it's not Make-A-Wish, it's something similar, but they're somehow connected. But Disney got involved in it many years ago and helped support it and build it. And they've got sort of like a village. And if you have a kid that's in that condition does that, you can go down there and spend the week and stay on their place and eat off them free and have all the ice cream and candy you want for a week. And, and do other things like give kids the world. Yes, that's the name of it.
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Well, it is. They do really. I mean, there's a couple of people online that we know or know from here that have been there with their child, and that's how they got involved in it. So I mean, it is a pretty good deal. They do some good things for people. I mean, and so does the others. But I think if you made a wish that you wanted to go to Florida and go to Disney World, they might send you here. But I could be wrong about that. It's nearby. It's not that far away. Make-A-Wish contacts them if the child's wish is to visit Walt Disney World, all expenses paid. Yeah, that's it's a really when they told me that you could go there and all the ice cream and cookies were free, hell, they had me on board right then. But I don't have any reason to go.
But that don't count for the parent.
I think they're included because
You gotta eat the like Trapper John beef jerky, and you don't get any of the cookies and ice cream.
I got one of those Trapper somethings right here someplace. I was gnawing on that stuff pretty regular. I hadn't bought any lately. I might be out. Anyway, they're doing a bunch of people that I met on here, and a lot of these guys know that they're Disney people. They got together a few years back and got involved and went over there and helped them do something and raise some money, because one of the members is also the guy I was talking about who had his son there. And now it's grown into this pretty big deal, actually, and they make quite a bit of money for the group, and they offer up all kinds of silent auction kind of stuff. So it's got to be a pretty big deal. I'll have to say I wish I could get involved in something like that a little bit more, because I think that's worthwhile. But I don't know if they ever take any kids out mastodon tooth hunting or anything. That'd be what I'd want to do. Brenda, remember that in case I can't talk. Just tell them that I want to make a wish for me would be to go someplace and pick up fossils.
To go find mastodons.
Are you going to Chris's meetup tomorrow? Is that Dad Belt's Chris, John? Because I was thinking somebody else had one tonight too. Maybe I'm thinking of Pete McDevitt. It might have been him. I hear little clicky footprints.
Oh, they're clicking around, running everywhere.
They've raised thousands of dollars. A lot of families have been accommodated because of this fundraiser. Tina, what is it? I don't know. It's probably changed anyway, since everything goes up every year. But a couple years ago, seems to me like I remember somebody saying that it's like $7,500 would put a child through there. Or a family. I can't remember how that worked, but they didn't have to pay it, but that's what they were shooting for. Every time they get that much money, they can send another family to make here. What Tina said. I'm just babbling. But 1 p.m. at Boardwalk. Which one's that? Chris's? Yes, I am, John. Maybe Chuck go too if I can get him there. Well, I hope so, Tina. I wish you could get me there. Brenda, hint. Oh, maybe we'll get back there someday. Yes, that's about the amount it's gone up. Like, yeah, I'm sure it has. But I know one time they said somebody was trying to raise that much money. Might have been Donna. And then they made more than that. So, but that was their target, was to get one family, enough money for one family to spend the week there. So they've done some good things. I think it's definitely a worthwhile effort. And that's going on, and they're doing that online tonight. So, and I think Tennessee plays ball today, because today is the beginning of the new playoffs. Let me see here. NCAA. I think the first round starts tonight. Tennessee plays, I'm pretty sure. Okay, Ohio, and they play Ohio State. I forgot about that, Mark.
Who does? Tennessee?
Tennessee does tonight. Let me see if it's tonight. I'm pretty sure it is.
I won't call my maiden aunts.
No,
if the big orange runs over them, I won't call my maiden aunts. So.
Yeah, I'll bet you won't. It's next weekend. I thought it was this weekend, but it's next Saturday. So, damn, that means I can't watch football. Anybody else playing today? 20th? No.
Well, there's got to be other games on.
Well, that's okay because I got plenty of rodeo to catch up on. But
yeah,
Tennessee.
I've already ruined for you. So sorry.
No, you didn't. I was just kidding. I knew we'd end up talking about it. And I don't care. You didn't ruin it. If you don't think I wouldn't watch it anyway, you're nuts. I'll probably watch it all again. It's over with. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the NFR now that the Cowboy Channel has made it convenient for me to watch finally. Is that they've also added all this other cool stuff that I want to watch. And
yeah.
all that in the day.
So you get to watch all the pregame and
Yeah, they got
post
rodeo
buckle ceremonies and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, right up to midnight 30 every night. You can just watch all kinds of rodeo stuff now. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of that again because I was just trying to catch up, just watching just the rodeo, and I missed all that. I have a question for you too. Do you know if Flint is doing a show? I mean,
I can't find it.
Well, I heard him say something about being at Cowboy Christmas.
Well, he's been co-hosting with Joe Beaver.
Yeah,
buckle ceremony, but he ain't doing. He always had that outside the barrel for the last 20 plus years, and I love that show.
And me too.
And it ain't on. The show that I think bumped it was the Deep Dive with that gal that's like bringing one person in and interviewing them for,
way too long.
Well, not way too long, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, they had a lot of, I liked that show. That was entertaining. Well, the reason I was asking was
I'm sure there's fans of that show that are not very happy.
I'm one of them. But I swear I thought I heard Flint say something about they were doing some stuff over there at the Cowboy Christmas, and I thought I saw a picture of his couch and stuff sitting there. So I thought maybe they were doing a live show like on stage there or something as part of it.
I haven't been able to find it. I've been looking for it.
Yeah, when I first couldn't find that show, I thought, oh God, they finally kicked Flint out. And then he was on the buckle ceremony, so I thought, well, they didn't kick him all the way out. So maybe they just ran out of room for that show, or I don't know, trying something else.
I think they replaced it with that Deep Dive with that gal, and I
don't like that.
I don't like change anyway, so I was looking for what I was used to watching, and anyway.
I'm trying to catch up here.
But it's been a good one. God bless those. It's been fantastic.
You know what's made it? There's several ways to look at this. But one of the things that's made this year really, I think, exciting
is all the kids.
Well, and there's nobody, no name people running for the all around. I mean, all these people wrapped up the all around every year, and it was like, like Stetson, for example.
Right.
And this year it's been wide ass open.
Wide open.
There's been none of that. So I mean, every day you're going to get somebody new to be the all around cowboy because there ain't nobody that's been there before. I think that's great. You won't see that too often.
I don't think we're going to see that for a long time. But man, there's some kids that have like some rookies that are just whooping the old dogs. Like it's been fun.
Yeah, it has, and boy, there's some good young talent coming up. That Riley kid,
that Riley Webb kid.
Oh my goodness.
roping and the calf roping. God Almighty.
He's
Where did he get spawned from? That's amazing. His abilities are amazing.
And I mean, when he won the first 3 nights, and I don't know if he's won since then or not, or he won the first 2, then finished second, then won another one. I don't know if he's won since then or
He's
not.
won 3 go rounds as far as I know. And then some of the old dogs like Haven Magid have, come back in and like done some good. And
the old dogs.
And I'm still rooting for Big Will Loomis to win the steer wrestling, but
well, I'm going to guess that that's not finished because that was pretty close. The last one I've seen.
I'm sure people get tired of hearing me talking about rodeo, but it's.
Hey, we get a turn we only get once a year.
So. I think my wife just said, "Yep."
Nope. It could be talking about hunting and fishing, and people used to say that too. I get tired of you guys talking about hunting and fishing all the time. Well, whatever. Mike
wants to know. Mike wants to know if I shoot some lead in the air.
Let me know.
They spook my horses and stuff, I'll guarantee you.
And look at what Brendan's wanting to know about the connect. Well, our money would exchange for more money up there, but it may cost more of that money. So it may end up working its way out. But Diane and Mike could school us on that sometime. But right now, yeah, American dollars are worth more. Canadians, when they come down here, they kind of lose their butt.
So their money's worth more or less right now?
Their money's worth less right now than our money. So
yeah, so then if they come down here, they get charged.
Yeah, Canadian dollars, like 70 cents, I think.
Got it.
Is what I think it is. I was just talking about it. I saw it the other day.
We could go to Canada and like make out like bandits, and they can't do the same.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, pretty much. Of course, when we turn it back in to come down this way, again, we won't get as much coming back, but we'll have hopefully spent it wisely and made some really good deals on Canadian products. Well, I was looking. I keep that here somewhere. The exchange rate. What?
Like soft Christmas shopping.
Yeah. So maybe Diana's staying down. Are you leaving too, or are you hanging around once he's gone? We'd love to have you hang around, but maybe you're going also. Well, what did I do with that thing? Just like everything else today, I can't find diddly. Anyway, I think it's about 70 cents. Maybe a little more than that. Maybe just under 80. But that's still a big difference. And so yeah, it makes a big difference. So if they came down here, like she's saying, to go to Disney World, it costs them a whole lot more money than it would to stay up there and go to Blue Jean Land or whatever. I'm sorry about that. I got that from Cowboys making fun of what they call them.
Canadian tuxedos. You wear a blue denim shirt, long sleeve shirt, and a set of jeans, and that's a Canadian tuxedo.
And a jean jacket too, isn't it? Don't it have?
Yeah, I mean you can have the jean jacket or not, as long as you got a blue jean denim shirt on.
Oh, okay.
Good.
As long as you got the shirt on, you're good. Okay, gotcha. Canadian tuxedo. First time I heard that, I about fell out of my chair.
Which is like, maybe specific to Alberta and maybe Saskatchewan.
Where there's more cowboys in some
but not the rest of the country. The rest of the country's wearing something
You know,
cool like a Woolrich war shirt and Woolrich pants.
yeah. I may have heard that from Corblund. Maybe it's who is a Canadian.
I think Corblund would be the one that would talk about a Canadian.
Pretty sure he was talking about the Canadian tuxedo, which I just thought. I heard him say that, man.
So we had a uniform that we wore was a red shirt and blue jeans.
Yeah.
You had your patches on your red shirt and your name tag and badges or whatever, and then there were meeting apparel that you could wear that were not, you didn't have to wear a red shirt. You could wear a green shirt or you could wear a whatever shirt. And I had blue jean shirts. That's the first time I ever heard it, was when I would be like, in my not my class A's, but my, whatever. And I'd be wearing a blue shirt and blue jeans, and they'd be like, well, you're in your Canadian tuxedo today.
Yeah, I always thought you guys had the best uniform outfit, although now you bought nothing you had other than maybe a nameplate or something. Nothing you had Wyoming Game and Fish on, did it, besides your hat?
No, we had patches on our shoulders that said Wyoming Game and Fish.
Oh, okay. So but then you have to buy your own shirts?
Well, yeah, you got a uniform allowance and you had to buy it that way, and then buy your jeans and boots and whatever. But
so when you bought a shirt, did you take it somewhere and have the patches sewed on, or did you have to do that?
No, they came to us that way. They were done.
Oh, okay.
And now they got all kind of options.
I'm not sure. I think the guys,
which I don't agree with, but I'm an old timer that we had one uniform, that was it.
I'm going to guess that when you said that was a meeting uniform, that was a public meeting, not just a.
Yeah, you could go to public meetings or internal meetings, but not. You couldn't go out. You couldn't go out and work hunters or, be out in the field doing work and not be in a red shirt.
Hang on just a minute.
And it's still that way. They still have to wear the general uniform in the field if they're going to be out intermingling with the public, checking hunters or fishermen or whatever. You still have to wear a red shirt, but they've gotten awful lax on that. I've seen an awful lot of people out in the field like, do you work for the department or no? Like, you got on KUIU gear? Are you still working for the department? They're driving a green truck with shields on the side, but they don't necessarily look like they're working for the department anymore. Did I mute you? Oh, you muted you.
Sorry about that. I was going to say one thing about TV. No wonder you weren't responding to my comments.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you were saying.
We didn't have a dress code per se. I mean, obviously they didn't want you in there just looking awful, but I mean, and one time something was suggested about all of us and resources wearing certain shirts or doing something, and one of our vice presidents who had been there a long time said, "No, we ain't never had a dress code, and they ain't one starting now." He said, "We're not going to do that." So we never really had. Now that said, obviously once you moved up a little bit, you were expected to wear at least dress pants and a
A
shirt,
suit and tie.
suit and tie, yeah, which is the worst uniform of all, as far as I'm concerned. Oh.
Yeah, and our people, even our director, he would wear a suit and tie to certain events, to commission meetings or to meetings with the governor or whatever, but not if he was just working, he was in a uniform.
Same as you guys.
The same as us.
Did those guys get to spend much time out in the field, or was that done deal once
They
got
beg, borrow, and steal as much field time as they can because, they were still the same people as us, boony rats. They still wanted to come play with the boys, and the girls.
I wondered about that.
In the fall, they would volunteer for. Could you let me come ride around with you? Will you take me to a check station? Will you do whatever? And it was like, well, absolutely. we could use the help. So yeah. It was we always had the higher ups coming out and helping especially in the fall.
Brenda, I'm not sure about that, but possibly. I haven't seen anybody else. Oh, there's Diana. She went and got coffee. Tina was talking about coffee too, but I don't know if she had to go get some or not.
She's in the Disneyland.
Yeah, but she was sitting on the terrace or somewhere drinking coffee, I thought.
Remember Eddie Murphy had that deal like talking about West Coast versus East Coast, and we got to Disneyland, and he'd say it like that, and then it's harder to say Disney World.
Oh, mercy. Well, let's see here. What else was I going to bring?
How's your coffee today, Tim?
Well, my wife asking me. It's not bad, baby. It's.
Don't be complaining about it. You didn't have to make it, did you?
I did part of it.
Oh.
She did, but no, I'm not. And I'm going to say this to everybody here, if there's anybody here, and her and you and whoever, but I don't appreciate it when she makes my coffee. I tell her that I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with my coffee. And
John's doing something cool.
I'm here.
I just got some more. Joe had to take out the shrimp.
The shrimp to thaw.
Oh, you poor devil.
That almost sounds like a.
Have you been out in the surf like with a cast net catching shrimp or something cool like that?
Are these shrimp for you to eat or shrimp for you to take fishing?
Hopefully he's eating them.
Brenda didn't make it. She just ground it. It was pretty good, babe. It's better. I made an extra little bit, and that little bit was a little watered down, which I knew it would be. But what I put in here, which was the first goes, is actually not bad. So I don't know. I think I don't know if it's my taste buds.
What are you drinking for coffee now? What are you drinking for coffee now?
I'm still drinking Death Wish, but I may be about to change because I'm not sure it's as fresh as it used to be. That's for eating, not for looking through. That's rock candy, John.
That's for eating, not for looking through.
And then you have that and a horn toad. Because the horn toad knows which way to go.
The horn toad will tell you where to go, and the horn toad tells us we should go to Texas.
We should go to Texas. I hear there's others down there just like us. Oh my gosh, what a movie.
The lines in that one are like precious.
Oh yeah. Now spit.
and that guy, God, my God, was he an actor?
Which one? Chief Dan George or somebody?
Dan George, he was he was an actor.
I just love that.
She thinks I'm some kind of Cherokee chief.
I wonder where she got that idea.
Wonder where she got that idea.
This is TP living. This is TP living. I might take up TP living, or if it's I don't know something about he might take up TP living. Oh man,
hi dog.
What a good movie. That's one of my favorite all time.
We should. Yeah, I've seen him do some things. We should do a whole show on that. We'd probably get banned from YouTube for life. But
I wish I could show it as a welcome to the movie night thing. I'd love that. Cena says, we're here. Chuck came on and took a nap. And I'm sitting here on the couch with my coffee. When did you guys get down there, Tina? How long have you been down there?
Well, last time we talked, they were heading.
Had they but they hadn't left yet, had they?
No, but they were getting ready to.
Excuse me. Well, I go see the doctor day after tomorrow. And thanks to Brenda, I have an early appointment. So
Look
I got
at that hand with no brace. I just noticed you don't have a brace on that hand.
I don't, do I? Well, it's gotten to the point where...
And your fingers all work.
Yeah, my fingers all work. I don't have a problem with that part. So they're probably going to start. That's what I was getting ready to say. I go to the doctor Monday. And I'll know what my schedule is on this arm if he wants me to actually start rehab. I was talking to my rehab person yesterday, and she said, or they said, that at this point, because of what he told me, that at this point they thought I ought to take it off when I'm not really actually doing something.
Right.
If I'm typing, it's hard to type with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I take it off for that, but I've been sleeping without it some too. And part of that's because my hand has just gotten so sore from wearing it. I mean,
right.
Top of my hand where those braces ride, and this thing's got I don't know if it's got aluminum. And you know what? We could look. Let's investigate. If I can, I may not be able to. Velcro. Man, I'll tell you one thing, they got some good Velcro. I know that.
Sweet John.
Well, come on out of there. Yeah, they're aluminum, I think. So it's got aluminum braces in it. So they're hard. And they don't, well, yes, we could probably bend them. They don't flex when they're like this.
Right.
So that whole area where they've been rubbing on all these weeks now is really getting sore. And so he told me when the last time I saw him, he said about 4 weeks, he said, you probably throw that brace away and start rehabbing that arm. But I'm not going to go throw this brace away until I know for sure that he's okay with my arm, because it'd be just like me to, screw it up again. And he said, well, now we get to put the pins and plates in there because you didn't take care of it. So after tomorrow, I will know. But yeah, or not tomorrow, Monday. But yeah, I am trying to use it more.
Our show's become the old people ailment.
Well, who said that?
I said that just now. That's right.
Carl.
I don't know if you can see this. You won't be able to. Maybe not. No, you won't be able to.
And John, that sounds like me when I have to get I still have to do that blood screening deal once a year. And after the last time I saw the doctor, though, I was talking to him about doing it via the phone. And they said, well, why don't we cut it back to just once a year? And I said, hell yeah, I'm all for that. So I don't have to, I don't know what the percentage of stuff shows up in my blood, but it's just enough to trigger a reaction. So I don't know. Maybe next time I'll get it done, I'll ask them more about it. But I know it's an enzyme that's in my blood that we probably all have, but at some point in men, at least, it can pop up and cause problems. So that's why they're watching it. But that, and then to get me, get my money. Because, we got a sports medical system.
They got to get your money, buddy.
No, I was getting stuff together last Saturday. We can't pack until the dogs are at the kennel. And it's crazy packing. I didn't think about it that way, Tina. I wasn't thinking about you and the dogs. But we had a problem with cats because they get up in the suitcases. I'm actually surprised we never took one somewhere.
A dog?
A cat in a suitcase locked that we didn't know we had. No, we've traveled with them, but never on an airplane. We used to, when we had dogs, when Pepper was still around. I don't think the shepherd ever went, and I don't think Nikki ever went. But we took them to Nikki might have gone. We did take them down there and house them in the kennel a few times, so we didn't have to, pay somebody up here to keep them. And you go over and visit them a time or two a day, and they take care of feeding them and everything. So we did that. One thing I just wanted to, because they had it. I don't know what they do now about that. Some places are actually pet friendly now down there. 5%. That's one thing I can say, John. My Mark's right. This turned into the old folks' hour. My LDL and stuff has been really good for a while, so it never was that bad. And so I don't know, and I don't know if that's the shots I'm taking or if it's something else. That's what the dogs do. They think the suitcase are new. Yeah, exactly. And the cats just climb up in there and curl up, And you'd think, well, they're trying to go with us, but that's not true, because I guarantee you put one in there and shut it and then head it out the door with it, they would probably rip a hole through the side.
Well, we got a big black tomcat living here with us now. He's not a big black tomcat yet. He's just a little black tomcat. And he, Alistair, Big Al, we've been bringing him out and introducing him to the dogs, and 4 of the 5 dogs are fine with him. And Hank is still a little too
aggressive.
On point. He's not been aggressive yet, but he's way too interested. So
yeah, I got you.
So I put him on a lead. Last night I put him on a lead. We watched rodeo, and I put him on a lead and held him through the whole rodeo and made sure he did. The cat was out wandering about and just free in the house, and had to keep him
contained.
I just had to have a hold of him in case he did something stupid. But
Diana, you don't have to go. Please, you can stay around with us. Mike's gone. So, just hang around and have some fun. But thanks for coming in, Diana. I really appreciate it. And I need to make sure I've got your address now that I just thought of that. Maybe I did already. Maybe I already did something. Because I was trying to send out a few Christmas cards. And I don't remember if I know I've got your all's address, but I don't remember if I put a card. I screwed it up. I made one out twice to somebody. Damn Christmas cards ain't cheap anymore either. This is the adult show today. My mouth's been.
You can't just buy like a big old box of leaning trees.
Well, you can, but a big old box of leaning trees ain't cheap anymore. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Diane. If you're still here, send me your address in case I don't have it, because the cards I have left to send, your name's not on that, and I don't see. So I'm thinking I've missed you guys. I swear though, I thought I had it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm doing that. I got a card from Phil yesterday, or the day before yesterday. He still sends cards out, and a cool thing I think, one of his sisters, at least one of his sisters, is doing letters and stuff now, not emails and things to family at least. So he's been doing a letter writing exchange with her just because, and I think that's cool because that was one of the reasons I used to like to sit down and write way back when on Saturday mornings and stuff when I'd get up early and sit down and write because one, it was quiet and I could do that, but who was I? Somebody else I was talking to about doing that now. I can't remember, but anyway, Phil's, he's trying to make, not enough people do that anymore. Well, not enough. Hardly anybody does it anymore. Write letters and actually by hand. And if they do send a letter, a lot of times it's typed. So
on the back of a C-rack box.
Brenda, I want you to look.
Free on it.
I see there you fixed it. I think we might should have gone up there and maybe change that a little bit more. Read that real quick, and it sounds kind of funny. Have a great breast, Diana.
On the weekend. Oh my!
Oh my goodness! If I get dinged for that, Brenda, it's your fault. Diana's already been gone, but
just talking chickens.
Just talking chickens. Just talking chickens. I'm speaking of chickens. I'm really.
No, you're not. Are you getting chickens?
Well, we've talked about it for a long time, and I'm really trying to decide.
Well, get you a half a dozen.
That's what I told Brenda.
A half a dozen is nothing. It's easy to take care of a half a dozen chickens.
And we could get probably plenty of fresh eggs.
You'd get all the eggs you'd want out of a half a dozen chickens. So we found out, and maybe it's just timing, but our laying hens, we had over 30 hens, and they'd fallen off to where we were only getting, I don't know, 5 or 6 eggs a day out of those 30. Out of all of them. And they were all molting. It was the molt, so that had something to do with it. But we had a bunch of old hens that weren't laying anymore, and they've all become
soup.
They've all become soup or soup to be. They're not all, they haven't all been consumed, but they've become soup or soup to be. And when we got that carrying capacity down a bit, where'd you go? Our egg production just skyrocketed.
Oh, really? So you just had too many then?
And I don't know if it was just luck of the draw, timing. They weren't molting anymore or whatever, but Caitlin got I don't know how many hens we've got now, maybe 25, maybe 24. And she got 20 eggs day before yesterday. So
not bad.
They're going to town, and we got a lot of eggs again. So which is good.
You guys give them to all the family, don't you?
Yeah, so most of our eggs go to the kids.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And
I got news for my kids. If they want my eggs,
well, if you only got a half a dozen hens, you won't have a bunch of extra eggs to give to family. We've
good.
always had way too many hens, and we always have every year we have a goal like we're gonna buy like 6 replacement hens or whatever,
Yeah.
and we end up with half again that amount more because the kids go
Pick out some chicks.
go with us to pick out chicks. And it's like, well, I want that one. I want that one too. And I'm like, well, we don't want any of those, but
Right. Yeah, but they like them.
You get them anyway, and so we always end up with like 2 to 4 more than we had planned, and
which increases over time.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And we've always planned to like band our chickens so we knew how old they were, and we've never done it. We've never found bands that were sturdy enough to stay on them, number one. But
surely somebody sells bands for chickens with.
Well, you just got to get aluminum bands. You can't do that. You can buy like plastic bands by the 100 score at the feed store, but you can't buy aluminum bands at the feed store. So with banding pliers, but that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got that many hens running, so.
Well, if you got that many, and we've talked about this before, with that many running, it would be nice to be able to call out the oldest ones before they got that old, even, and then you could.
Yeah, and they always it's like you get hens that are like, you can tell they're ailing or they're, getting close to their time, and we always cull those out, and they all become soup. They don't, none of them become anything but soup because
they tend to be tough.
Yeah, when you get a 5-year-old hen, she's a tough old gal. A 5-year-old hen that's lived in Wyoming her whole life, she's a tough old gal, but she makes a good soup.
Yeah, well, that's key.
And I would have them live forever and not, have to worry about it, but they don't do that. So.
Oh, they don't keep laying eggs either.
I don't like going out there and finding them just dead. And they do that occasionally. And
yeah,
luckily we've got enough dogs running around the property that we don't get too many varmints. Skunks are all we've ever had.
We'd probably have that here if we weren't. I mean, we could very well have the same problem.
We could have mink here easy. We've had mink in the yard many times, and so we could have that, but I've never had a mink issue. We have lots of long-tailed weasels. We've never seen them. We had a badger, that
was my next
very interested in getting in one day, and he got run off by the horses actually, and then we had this morning, like I said, at like 03:50 this morning, I walked out to let the dogs out, and here come a red fox walking up the sidewalk and up onto the back porch, and I'm like, well, aren't you brazen? And I just opened the door and let the dogs out.
What I got.
And he was like, oh, uh-oh.
He said, we have skunks.
Because
when Danny and Morgan love skunks. Yeah, I love skunks one time.
And so you, Tina, love peroxide baking soda, and a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid.
That'll do it. You know why people didn't think of that a lot sooner.
We scrub a dog a month, it seems like, except during the middle of the winter. In the middle of the winter, they're all hibernating or doing whatever. They're not out and about.
Tina, Brenda and I used to live on a farm.
You had the skunkiest farm on the planet.
Well, those things were, I mean, literally skunks everywhere. I
couldn't believe you didn't have a big rabies outbreak.
Oh, I know. Well, the guy that worked on the farm did his bit to try to keep them thinned out, and I shot 2 or 3. When they were out during the daytime, and I had my 22 out. But they took Tina. I think the lady's name was Tina, also Tina, and I can't remember her husband's name. He was a pretty good guy. But they'd go out and they had this big 3/4 ton beat the hell F450 or 250 or something Ford pickup truck that was just that they drove everywhere and just hauled everything with it on the farm. But he told Brenda they were going out. I think they were going out to look at calves, new calves that maybe the cows were dropping. And when they got out there, they started seeing skunks. So he just took to running over the skunks with the pickup truck.
Yeah.
So Brenda was in the cab of the truck, just gagging and puking.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Brenda? I don't know if she gagged and puked, but she was.
So Tina, you ask about tomato juice. That's a wise tale.
It don't do much.
It don't do much.
I think the key to this recipe is it's
it's peroxide
mixed with
baking soda and a little bit of dishwashing liquid and a little water.
Not aerate, but I think it attaches takes the smell and attaches it with it. It oxidizes and somehow.
Yeah, baking soda is a grand product that attaches to nasty smells but you need peroxide plus baking soda plus
you need all 3 of those things
plus a little bit of Dawn dishwasher.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of Dawn,
but it's got to be Dawn. It can't be like Palmolive or something. It's got to be Dawn.
So Tina, try that next time they get sprayed. It does work. I've only had to use it once, but on somebody, and I'm trying to think who that was.
I've scrubbed so many dogs over the years that it works. And if you don't get enough ingredients in there, you can tell that. I mean, they still carry that faint odor for months.
Basically, get wet.
My bird dog, she's terrible about getting sprayed on the head, and she'll just like stink for months unless I get the mixture just right. But
Tina, you shouldn't even have said that. She said, "Hopefully, there is no next time."
Well, whatever.
You just invited.
That's not
fear to come down on your head.
Every night when I turn the dogs out, every single night until it gets bad winter.
Skunks are on your mind.
I suspect that one of them's going to come in smelling like a skunk.
Well, see, that's what we had that shepherd, Australian shepherd.
He was a skunk dog.
He was a skunk dog. And he would he would run in and grab those things by the neck, behind the head, and just shake them, throw them down, and go get him another one. I mean, he probably killed quite a few for them, but he also meant he came home stinky. And but I swear to you, Brenda, I don't know if she remembers this or not, but he would go out in the field and he would roll in some sort of cow manure grass mixture. I don't know. He mixed it up himself, and he'd get rid of most of the smell just like that. So, I mean, it wasn't quite as hard to keep him clean. Now, poor little Pepper.
or your nasal, your whole faction senses had already filled up with it, and you couldn't smell it anymore.
Well, that could be, but it, it did. I don't know. I swear he'd come back in because he was out. Pretty much let him loose any night, and he'd be out skunking. Yeah, and I made sure we had our rabies shots up to speed and stuff down there.
Because they're bad about that.
Skunks are bad about that, and they were literally everywhere down there. I mean, I've never seen so many skunks. Aussies can do that, though. They're kind of code. It could be. I mean, but but he never got rid of all of it. I mean, if you've been around skunk smell, sprayed skunks, or perhaps you've used it in your trap line or your deer,
or you've looked into the culvert because you were going to collect notes on a wildlife critter. And you got to smell it for like 6 months afterwards.
You get that right in the face?
Right in the face.
Oh my goodness.
Gagging, crying, puking.
I don't know if I remember that or not.
That was my first year in college.
Was that it? That wasn't
I had a class called field biology, and they were teaching us how to take field notes and observe things, which I already could kind of do.
Well, you're one of the best observers of things I've ever known.
But I was driving to school one morning, and I'm like on this back road, and the skunk walks across the road, and I'm like, here's my opportunity to observe this like critter in the wild and take notes about what he's doing. And he went down and draw a picture of him maybe. And he went down into a little culvert, about, I don't know, 24-inch culvert. And I crawled down over the edge and looked in there and just was like double barreled right there.
He was waiting on you.
I laid there for probably an hour gagging and I couldn't see.
Oh,
and just like gagging. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm in the middle of nowhere. And how am I going to get home? Or how am I going to get to school? And I wasn't going to go to school. And so and people said, well, wash yourself with tomato juice or whatever. And I didn't know the peroxide, baking soda trick. And I end up burning my clothes because they were of no value whatsoever ever again. I didn't have a lot of clothes to be doing that at that time in my life. But yeah, that was
I wanted to put something up here.
My son and I, like the night before his wedding reception, Shauna comes in the house and like there's a skunk out there in the old barn or out, and we had a little shop beside the barn. There's a skunk that just went into that building, and so we go out there and like whack him with the 22, and he lets go. And it's like, wouldn't it be funny if you have to show up to your wedding reception tomorrow and you and your best man, and we both stink like a skunk?
A new tradition.
But we didn't. We managed to avoid it, but it was close. It was touch and go.
Close is just being close to skunk scent means a lot in itself.
I remember trapping a skunk in a window well in Cheyenne, Wyoming one time. We didn't normally do skunks because they weren't. They're classified as a varmint in
Not
Wyoming.
a game animal. Yeah.
They're not a game animal, so the department doesn't really do skunks or coyotes or red foxes or anything like that.
Oh, really? They just don't do.
They're not even a game. They're just a varmint. And but in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the capital of the state, you dealt with coons and skunks and foxes and whatever. And my game warden and I went and this skunk had fallen into a window well, one of those big, deep, I don't even know what to call them. They're so you can escape if there's a fire in the house. But they're deep. They're a really deep window well, like the 4 feet, 5 feet deep.
Oh.
And that skunk had fallen down in there. And he was cool because he was like chocolate colored, not black and white. He was chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
He was chocolate and white and he looked like a chocolate lab, that color, and then white. And so I built him a skunk ladder, literally like Crazy Eddie Muldoon. and I put that board with slats on it down in that window well, and he crawled out. And Steve and I were like, success. We didn't get sprayed. Nothing happened. And as we walked back into the Cheyenne office, and as soon as we walked through the door, an old gal named Donetta Terrell, who was our head front counter gal, said, "You two boys have been playing with a skunk." As soon as we walked in the door, and it's like, well, we can't smell it.
We didn't get sprayed.
She's like, well, I darn sure can. Why don't you guys go home and
and wash your clothes
and get out of this building?
Brenda's kind of like that. She's a little skunk shy herself. She's been around it, but boy, it don't take much to get her gag reflex going when it comes to skunk smell.
And Mom always said she likes the smell of it if it's distant.
Oh, really?
Like if a skunk blasted something over in the woods or whatever, she always kind of enjoy. And I guess I'm kind of the same way. I don't mind it if it's faint, but if it's right up close and personal,
it's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole different deal.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it like that. But yeah, if it's not right on me, I don't pay that much attention to it either. Now, Brenda, she sees a dead one on the road, which we have plenty of.
Drive around.
Trying to get me to drive to the other side of the county. Don't get by that thing. Oh, my God, that stinks. I said, well, yeah, it's a skunk. You can't miss all of them. Yeah, Tina, yeah, I agree. And when I was talking about that farm and there was a lot of skunks, seriously, I went out there one night to do something, maybe to see what the dogs were up to. And I walked out around from where we lived in a trailer, and there was a big shop building behind us, and or at the end of the trailer, and he had that's where he had a couple of silos there. The short, stubby ones from, I don't know, I guess for silage, but it could have been from grain. I don't know. But it drew skunks and critters, and he always had lots of skunks around there, period. And I went out there one day with the dogs, and I was surprised I didn't get sprayed because they were running around just all over the place. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then the best shot I ever made with a 22 was, I think, amongst many great ones, this is what I think might be the greatest.
amongst many a great 22 shot.
Bullshit. I had one out in the field one day, and it was walking towards the yard, and I'm not kidding. It was 40 or 50 yards out there on, they're down low to the ground doing its waddle thing. And I got my 22 out there and laid down across something or laid it up on the fence post. I don't know what I did, but I braced somehow and I shot that thing. And I've never seen this happen for me. As I hit him right on the end of his nose, I reckon, and killed him so quick that he just flopped. Didn't move, it didn't twitch, didn't move another step forward. I mean, he's walking towards me and he just boom. All four legs quit and he was on his belly. Never sprayed, never did anything. I must have cut his spinal cord column or something right there, or busted his head enough that I'm sorry if that upsets anybody. Trigger alert, but we there was a skunk problem down there and we did have to get rid of some. I mean, it was bad. And believe it or not, you can't just trap a skunk and then offer to take it down to somebody else's house. They don't. Usually, they won't take them. Not willingly, anyway. Do they trap much? Do they trap skunks out there at all and use the pelts, or do they just ignore them?
Here?
Yeah.
No, not much.
Not much. I was thinking, I bet they get a pretty decent fur on them out there.
I mean, they're just like I said, we have a class of wildlife called predatory animals.
Yeah.
That there's no closed season. You don't need a license. You don't need nothing. You can kill them any time of the year. And it, the list is like coyotes and red foxes and jackrabbits. They're not really predatory animal, but they're on the list. Skunks, raccoons. Raccoons aren't even native to Wyoming. They got here later.
Oh, not at all?
They came with us.
Oh,
They
I
were
didn't realize that.
They were native to Nebraska, and they were probably occasionally in eastern Wyoming, like in my old district over there. But for the most part, they weren't native to the whole state of Wyoming. And God, we've got just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them now, and they're real common on my property down on the river. They're just like
I knew you had some.
a dime a dozen. And John, your prairie dogs they're not considered a predatory animal, but they're an unprotected species. So that whole different class of critter. All the ground squirrels and all the prairie dogs, anything that digs a hole in the ground is pretty much fair game.
That includes badgers?
Badgers are a fur bearer.
Okay, yeah.
You got to have a trapping license to kill a badger.
So
but the season is open 365 days a year. So if you have a trapping license, you can hunt badgers or trap badgers, but you can't.
So that gets around it.
They're still a fur bearer.
But that gets around. Well, I guess if you have a license, though, you did say that. Because
you can't just kill a badger.
I was going to say, I guess that just gets around the paperwork for killing them in chicken coops year round. But you got a point there.
I mean, if they're in your chicken house, killing your chickens, you can kill them as a landowner.
Okay.
Just to protect your livestock. And that's legal too. But the kid from town can't come out and just kill a badger on your place.
Yeah,
they want to kill a badger unless they get a trapping license.
Was there ever a time when in Wyoming where prairie dogs were threatened? I mean, did they ever get populations that low?
No.
Well, what was the deal? I mean, with the Blackfoot,
Things that ate them got there, like
yeah.
black-footed ferrets, but
Well, they ate them, but weren't. I thought part of their problem with their decreasing numbers was their lack of prairie dog towns or access to them.
well, we had plague introduced to prairie dogs in Wyoming and the rest of the West, not just in Wyoming, just every state that there's prairie dogs. Plague got here with through domestic rats, be they pets or otherwise.
Which version of
Black rats and Norway rats brought the plague to the West.
Well, let's hope. Well,
and most of those were not intentionally introduced. They just were in whatever that got here, and they that hit towns pretty hard, which certainly impacted black-footed ferret populations. But it never got to where, like prairie dogs in Wyoming, other places in the West, prairie dogs are, more, they got impacted higher than here. But
that's what I was wondering about.
We have black-tailed prairie dogs and white-tailed prairie dogs, and white-tailed prairie dogs are way more scattered, less concentrated, and plague affects them less, which is where they found the last remaining wild ferrets was in Meeteetse on a white-tailed prairie dog town. So black-tailed prairie dogs, they're like bee people. They're like Hopis. They live real tight together.
Yeah.
And the whitetails are more like Navajos. They live scattered out. And I mean, it's reality. It's kind of how they, and so they were impacted less by plague than blacktails.
Blacktail. Well, that makes sense.
But we got plenty of prairie dogs.
I just wasn't sure if any time they hit them so hard out there getting rid of them, if they had actually cut numbers down, and that's why I wasn't sure if that's what affected the black.
No, I mean, guys shoot them all the time by the hundreds, and guys poison them, and guys do whatever. Ranchers are putting out poison baits and trying to get rid of prairie dogs, and it's like, why don't you give it up? Because you ain't ever going to win, and it's stupid, number one, and you're not helping anything.
I don't like.
They're kind of a keystone that the whole system operates off of. Just leave them alone. They're not. And I've ridden over thousands and thousands of square miles of prairie dog town. Never had a horse step in a hole. I've had them step in badger holes, but not in prairie dog holes. I'm sure there are people that have had horses' legs broken a prairie dog hole, but I don't know any of them. I've never met one. So
maybe just on the movies or something.
It'll certainly, but I mean, like you hit a big old badger hole when you're at a high lope on your horse, you're going ass over tea kettle.
I'm surprised. I mean,
you're going to hit the ground, and your horse will land beside you, and the gal that you're working for says, that was the most athletic thing I've ever seen an old man do.
When was this?
Oh, it's been several years ago now, but I was chasing.
You weren't even an old man.
I was chasing a calf that just kind of broke from the herd and was going to a place we didn't want him to go, definitely, or take any of their friends. And so I took off after this calf, hard run, and Honeycomb hit a whole colony of badger holes. And down she went, and she flipped clear over, like,
Wow.
she went down in the head and flipped clear over. And I sailed as hard as I could off of her. And I just kept flipping and rolling and flipping and rolling and flipping and rolling. And she was doing the same thing behind me. And we both came to a stop, and I grabbed the Makati and like had a hold of her. And I was like, oh my God, my horse is hurt. And she wasn't hurt at all.
Great.
Thank God.
I assume not, because you still have her. But
and I stepped back up on her, and my buddy's wife was closest to me, and she's like, that's the most athletic thing I've ever seen an old guy do.
Oh, that's not even fair.
Because I was just like, flip, 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 flip. I was like, look, my horse is going to fall on me any second, and I was rolling and she was rolling. I was rolling on purpose and she was rolling on accident. And
too bad. The only thing I got to say about that, because it reminds me of something else, is I hate like hell you didn't land in a yellow jacket's nest.
And it would have been even better if I'd landed on a scorpion or landed in a big old bunch of bees or something. But it was bad enough.
Well,
I was when we had a long way, like 20 more miles to ride, and it was a long day.
I'm gonna guess it, even though you didn't break anything, you were pretty stove up.
I was hurting by the
you
end.
Not acted like you weren't them because of what she said.
Well, yeah, I was the adrenaline was pumping through me, and I didn't feel a thing, but I sure did later.
Oh my! Because that kind of reminds me.
And I still feel it. I still feel it today.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? We still feel it,
and that's the whole issue.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It never goes away.
Hey, I was going to show you this. You might remember this. You might not. I think I found this in this book. This My Two Little Savages copy. This one that I have that's old.
Oh yeah, the beautiful one. Yeah.
And almost, man, it's almost. I'm gonna learn how to fix this myself, I think. But anyway, I had this in it. I don't know, and I think it's where I found this. And gotta be careful. Paper's breaking. And it's a Buxy tree stand. And it's Sure Grip tree stand, Sure Grip tree stamps, and it's a winning combination for all deer hunters. It says that recently at the Bow Hunter Trophy Show in Greensboro, North Carolina, Buxy outsold 3 other portable tree stands combined 52-5. I don't know about you, but it looks a little bit like, it almost looks a little bit like a Baker.
Like an old Baker climbing tree stand.
But it might be different. He's hanging on the side of it. Now, you couldn't do that with a Baker. It would have flipped you off.
No, he would have died.
But
we built Bakers ourselves for years. And I can remember being in a homemade Baker I made in a tree just to the west of, or just to the north of where my parents' old place was at there in Ohio.
Yeah.
And I was on a ridge line just to the west of that fence line. It was real cold, like it was like 11 degrees or something. I climbed up in that stand that morning, and I already had it set, and I don't know if I was just using a rope to climb up to it or what at that time. I wasn't that smart, so I probably didn't have any steps. I probably just used a rope or something and climbed up and got in that stand, and both the arms on that homemade baker broke. It was round aluminum,
Yeah.
and I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. And
I bet you.
I was like, I don't know, 15 feet up, and I stepped on that stand, and it just broke like
No breath left in you. Huh?
like it was ice, and like, yeah, I laid there and like didn't have any air, and I never used one of those homemade stands ever again until you and I built stands.
Yeah, but I built some chain-ons. I got away from
Yeah, the one that you and I built one for me.
Yeah.
That were chain-ons that was my favorite tree stand ever, and it had that expanded metal bottom
Right.
on the frame that we welded it up, and then somebody stole that off of Dad's property.
Somebody stole mine too. The first one I had.
Well, and we were together when one of my other ones got stolen.
Yes, and we
hunted that son of a buck, but we never caught up with him.
Yeah, that just shouldn't go unpunished. Anybody steal a man's tree stand? That's just plumb low grade.
Some bitches.
That's just not you. That's just bad. You just don't do that to somebody. And he stood there and smoked cigarettes while he
was stealing my tree stand.
Stealing the tree stand, and that just made it even worse.
And we trailed him out of there like a bunch of Blackfoot warriors, and we just didn't catch up with him. He was gone.
There wasn't but one. Well, there was a couple ways in and out, I guess, but there was only one parking lot.
Well, we had been there. He had been. We didn't go back till the afternoon hunt, and he was in there in the morning and stole it. Yeah. Son of a buck. Anyway.
That one and the one I got stolen then down in Nashville. Just burned my hide. That one down there, I was so mad, and I thought I had the guy that did that one, and but it wasn't him, because I thought he was in another tree not far away, and I thought I heard my wife click me, but it wasn't her. But anyway, that's crook thieves. I just, they just give a bad name to the rest of humans.
Yep.
And to be hunting and steal a man's tree stand and call yourself a hunter, that's not right.
No.
That just ain't going. You're going to pay for that somewhere down the road. I feel sure.
Yeah, it's coming. The lightning's going to strike you someday.
Someday it's going to happen.
Anyway.
You're going to steal another tree stand, and that's the day you're going to get it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get off here.
Yeah, we got to go. You got to go to Green River, I think you said.
I got to go wandering, so.
I gotta get caught up on rodeo, so.
All right, brother.
Whoever's left out there, if you're still here, John, Tina, Karma, John said, that's right. It's a bitch sometimes. And if Tina and Chuck are still out there, thanks for popping in. I appreciate what you said about your favorite bear and your favorite cowboy. I appreciate that. I really do. Anyway, it means a lot, guys. So
you guys have a fine rest of the year, actually.
Yeah, rest of the year. I may be on next week. I'll probably be here even after Christmas. I may just be sitting around like this. I'll try to have something better to do next week. I just got busy and then just couldn't think towards the end of the week. And
got it.
Trying to catch up with rodeo and stuff. So anyhow.
All right, brother.
I appreciate you being here. Be safe out there on them wild roads of Wyoming.
We will.
All right. Take care, guys. Everybody else, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Have fun at Disney World, Tina, if you still have a couple of days left. And
I hope you get a big hug from the mouse.
I do too. What did John say? Cloudy the next 5 nights. So last night for drone. You might be right, John.
John, I hope you catch some fish.
And maybe shoot a drone down or two. Who knows? Oh, heck, I was going to say something about that. I forgot what I was going to say. Something about his comment. Oh, well, there's a meteor shower going on right now, too. I don't know if anybody watches those kind of things. But Brenda wanted to watch last night, and I said, well, you may have to go because it was cloudy.
Yikes, a big hug from the mouse.
Too cold for
Where's it going? When's it happening?
Which part?
The meteor shower.
Well, tonight. I think it's probably, well, I haven't looked it up. She was telling me that the two best nights, I think, were tonight and tomorrow night, but it could have been last night. But tonight's supposed to be good, but I don't know if we're going to have enough broken cloud cover to see anything.
We're totally overcast today, so I'm not going to see it.
I didn't. Last night, when I left here and went down to the house, I was about 10 o'clock, I guess, or after. And where you could see, it was brilliant, but they were so cloudy you couldn't see much. Like I could see Orion off to the southeast here a bit, and I could see his belt, and I actually think I could see about as much of Orion's constellation as I've ever seen, even though I still can't pick them all out. But it was, I mean, but that was all I could see.
Right.
Anything else? It was just in a hole in the clouds, and that was it.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly where the meteors are, what quadrant, but yeah, look for them. Brenda, are you still in here? What's the name of that shower? It's not one of the ones you hear about all the time.
Well, I'm jetting.
All right, brother, you take care, and you guys be safe out there, and tell everybody I said hey, and we'll see you again next week. Tina, have a great time. If you're online, send me a text or something, Tina. If you guys are going to be meeting up with somebody or in a group, I'd like to, if they're videoing or if they're live streaming, I'll hop in there and just see what's going on. But because I'm going to try to watch the rest of or at least part of the show tonight, and look again at the stuff they've got for sale. A lot of it's already out of my price range, but I can still look. Anyway, see you guys. Love y'all, and see you again next week if the creek don't rise.